Good afternoon and welcome to the Green Carpet Celebration. Please take a moment and turn off your cell phones as they interrupt the technology equipment. Now, once the platform party enters, we will sing O Canada in English and French, and we will be led by grade 11 students Chihiro Yasufuku with Jacqueline Yu on the piano. Our head prefect, Nora Hodgson, will then come forward and read the acknowledgement. To start our Green Carpet Celebration, Ala will play a beautiful sea from Sing Street as the platform party enters. So now, please stand for the entrance of the platform party and remain standing for O Canada and the acknowledgement. And over to you, Ala.
You can get. She laughs, nowhere is as pretty as this.
Green cars crawling in the slow lane, lost stars waiting for a dark train. She smiles, turns and blows the city a kiss.
Oh, under the waves I feel her pull my body down. Bus stop, Star Wars, chewing gum and punk rock. She laughs, why don't we just give this a rest?
Let's go, take me where the wind blows, sail ships far until tomorrow. We can turn and blow the city a kiss.
She calls to me. She gets into my brain and writes my poetry. This girl is a beautiful sea.
We wish to acknowledge this land on which Branksome operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit River. Today, this meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and go to school on this land. Please be seated.
I am delighted to welcome parents, students, faculty, staff, and guests to the final event of the 2018 school year as we celebrate the accomplishments, creativity, and leadership of students from grades 7 to 11. We have divided this event into 3 sections. First, there will be remarks from Ms. Jurvich and the Right Honourable David Johnson. Second, will be awards that recognize student accomplishments in the full IB experience. And third, we will present awards that acknowledge commitment, leadership, and character. I now ask Ms. Jurvich to give her opening remarks and to introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you, Mrs. Weinstock. And the rock band, you're somewhere here in the room, but aren't we lucky to open an event with our very own rock band? We're so proud of them, so let's hear it for the rock band. So my warmest welcome to our annual green carpet ceremony, marking the end of the academic year for students and faculty in the middle and senior school. And what a year it has been, filled with successes, challenges, and a lot of effort. Academic, co-curricular, the arts, athletic, the list goes on. Girls, you and your teachers gave generously to your school this year. Your community has benefited, and beyond our borders, you have demonstrated international mindedness, generosity of spirit, and a true dedication to our school's mission to love learning and to shape a better world. Thank you for making Branksome Hall a better place. We launched this academic year, 2017-18, with a most remarkable guest, Gloria Steinem, writer, political activist, and feminist organizer here on this stage, and she is now considered a friend of Branksome Hall's. Steinem's messages on peace, justice, gender roles, and the culture of Indigenous peoples impacted our community in ways not soon to be forgotten. And now, as we conclude this year, I am so delighted and proud to introduce you to an equally as impactful role model, educator, author, and nation builder, the Right Honourable David Johnston, Canada's 28th Governor General, and his wife Sharon, who are with us today. Our guest speaker, David Johnston, has served as the Principal and Vice Chancellor of McGill University. He served as a full-time professor in the McGill Faculty of Law, and as the 5th President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Waterloo. David Johnston's 7-year tenure as Governor General, the 3rd longest in Canadian history, has been characterized by inclusiveness, dedication, energy, and ambition in quest of a smarter, more caring Canada and a better world. David and Sharon are role models, dedicated to building a more caring nation and a genuine sense of community. And I like to think that our Branksome Hall community carries a similar mission. Now, to make this introduction a little more personal, if I may, I have a little story for the audience, and I have a few things in common with our guests. Many of you know that I grew up in Sault Ste. Marie. I always like to go back to my northern roots. It's a great northern Ontario community. Mr. Annie Palarchio is also from the Sioux. Mr. Ritchie's from Thessalon. There's a lot of northern community people here. We went to a great high school, SCI, Sioux Collegiate Institute, where sports and athletics were a big part of our school life. Sharon Johnston, David's wife, lived around the corner from me, and we had the pleasure of sharing memories of those days on Summit Avenue, on Bourne Avenue, and stories about our mothers. David Johnston has been known to say, "I came from humble beginnings." And I can certainly echo that sentiment. Yet there was a richness about growing up in a small and caring community that gave us confidence and a belief that we could do anything and we could be whoever we wanted to be. For this, I am eternally grateful to my small town roots and extraordinarily proud to share these roots with David and Sharon Johnston. Finally, I would like you all to know that David married his high school sweetheart, Sharon Johnston. They have 5 daughters, and they are grandparents to 14 grandchildren. It's pretty cool. Together, we, as an audience, have the great honor of welcoming them to our school. Thank you, David and Sharon, for your years of service to our country, for your love of nation, and from being from the Sioux. We will now take a few moments to watch an introductory video, gain a deeper understanding into our country's 28th Governor General, and welcome David and Sharon to the podium. Please enjoy.
I was born in Sudbury, Ontario, and then moved to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. We learned to skate before we learned to walk there, of course. I don't look upon my background as at all deprived, but I realized early on, as did my sister and my brother, that we would have to get on with life, and we did. If I needed a new bike at age 9 or a new pair of blue jeans at age 10, you earn the money from your paper route or delivering for the drugstore or whatever, and you got on with it. My mom was a really hard-working woman who helped to support the family income by actually working as a nurse's assistant in the local hospital on the night shift for about 7 or 8 years. Dad was a good man, a man with a good sense of humor. He had a grade 10 education. He struggled. He was unemployed for a period of time when I was in high school, and he did his best. My mother contracted breast cancer when she was early 40s, which is early on, and I suppose certainly the fear of loss of mother is a huge, formidable force that just rivets you. And then she began to lose her eyesight, and she became blind. And she was a wonderfully courageous woman. Scott Peck, in his famous book, The Road Less Traveled, said, "Life is difficult. Now that you understand that, get on and manage it." Life always has difficulties, so we have adversity every day, but that we learn to enhance our capacity to manage adversity, to overcome it, and then to learn from it, to say, well, when it comes along again, what will I do a little differently? If one has found challenges, there's always been a whole lot of help to ensure that you could find your way over them and through them. I love this country. It's been built on the premise of life shall be better for our children, and that each of us has a responsibility to work to make life better for our children and for our neighbors' children and our community's children. When I was installed in my current job, I said to the audience there, if you remember only 3 words of what I say today, they are cherish our teachers. I can tell you 100 or more stories of teachers, mentors, coaches, advisors who have made a difference in my life. Education is important to me. Develop your talents just as much as you possibly can. Pursue your education with a passion. And then be conscious of the fact that it's very important and I think very satisfying to use those talents and that energy to help other people along also. My favorite motto is probably from Hamlet. It's a very famous passage. It's to thine own self it be true, and it shall follow as the night, the day, that thou canst not then be false to anyone. So when you're true to yourself, what does that mean? It means you're true to the values that make you up. Becoming a member of the Horatio Alger Association for me is a matter of great pride, but it carries with it also a responsibility, and that's to continue to do things to give others that hand up. Not a handout, but a hand up.
So it is now my pleasure to welcome both David, who's going to speak, David Johnston, and later David and his wife Sharon, who will be doing a Q&A with the students here today. And I've been principal for 20 years at Branksome Hall. And this is my proudest moment, so thank you.
Well, thank you, Principal Karen, parents, Shares and me. What a marvelous performance by the rock band. Congratulations. And how wonderful to hear our national anthem sung in our 2 official languages. Bravo. Sharon, I didn't recognize that old guy up on the screen. Who the heck is that? Nous sommes ravis d'être ici parmi vous parce que j'ai beaucoup d'admiration pour Branksome Hall, pour la faculté, pour les étudiants, pour les parents et pour cette institution comme institution d'excellence pour notre pays. Wonderful to be here with you. Let me be brief in making a few opening remarks. Tout le monde parle français ici, n'est-ce pas? Do you all speak French? Ça c'est bon, huh? So when you come to question me, you put questions in French if you like, and that'll be fun, huh? Let me be relatively brief, and then Sharon's going to join me on the stage, and the students can cross-examine me, which would be good. Let me say 3 things. J'ai 3 choses de faire aujourd'hui. I write books. I'm a law professor by trade. My wife writes as well, but she really likes writing. She gets up about 5:30 or 6 o'clock every morning and writes away till about 11 or 12 o'clock, and then she goes and rides her horse, and after that her day begins. I find writing hard, but I do write. And I just want to speak about 3 books, each of which perhaps have a lesson or 2 for those of you who are 17 and under. So parents, you can close your ears for a little bit. I'm going to talk to these young people. The first comes from a book we called The Idea of Canada, which is letters to 49 different Canadians, some alive, some posthumously. And it comes from my morning habit of writing letters. I used to write a letter to our 5 daughters when they first went away from home, and then 5 copies of it every day, which was my contact with them. But the very first letter is a letter that answers the question, who am I? And the story takes place in Repulse Bay about August of 2011. Sharon and I were there for a Governor General visit. And when we arrived in the morning, we learned that there was a Terry Fox run going to be there, the most northerly Terry Fox run in the world. There are Terry Fox runs now in 70 or 80 countries around the world. Think of that, Terry Fox around the world. And we've run in every Terry Fox run, I think, for 33, 34 years, and now with the grandchildren. So we had our running kits, so we got ready to run with the kids, and all ready to start. And a little Inuit guy of about age 8 come up and tapped me in the shoulder and says, "Who are you anyway?" I said, "I'm the Governor General of Canada." "What's your name anyway?" "My name is David." "Well, David, how old are you anyway?" "I'm 70 years old." 70 years old. I didn't think anybody could get that old. So we finished the race, 5 kilometers. I came and found the little guy, put my arm around his shoulders and said, "Not dead yet anyway." And the rest of the book is really about finding myself, and some of those things you saw on the screen a moment ago have to do with values. The second part, which I guess was picked up on the screen as well, is that Karen and Sharon lived on Summit Avenue in Sault Ste. Marie, which is the lovely street overlooking the hill. I lived down the hill on the other side of the tracks, so modest circumstances was correct, but I never wanted. I grew up in a really caring community, so my first job was a paper route at 9 and then a drugstore at 10. Then I got a big promotion. I went to work indoors, and we talk about this in this book that we did a year or 2 ago called Innovation, and the student edition is Innovation Nation. There are copies in your library, and it's tried to enhance the culture of innovation. And innovation is a complicated thing, and you think of high tech, you think of iPhones, Blackberries, that's in the book, Mike Lazaridis' invention, development of the iPhone. But it's simply doing things better, making things better. It includes social innovation. But back to being innovative. So my promotion was at age 11, I went to a garage and I was washing cars and sweeping floors and fetching coffee. And we worked in that garage with mechanics who weren't paid on the hours they put in. They were paid on the mechanical repairs they completed. So if it was a clutch repair on a 4-year-old car, that would be in the book 5 hours of work. If they did it in 4 hours, they got paid for 5 hours. And so I then, trying to do things better with them, try to help them cut that 5 hours to 4 hours. So one of the things I would do is when the car came in, I would sit down with the mechanic and he would list the parts that he would need for that clutch repair. I'd put them down on the paper, and then I'd go to the parts department, and under the supervision of the parts manager, I'd get them all, put them in a shopping cart basket, bring them out, and carefully align them on the bench of the mechanic so they didn't have to go looking for parts. And then the next thing I did is I started to drive at age 11, only in the car, in the garage, and I would move the cars back and forth so they didn't waste time doing that. And a lovely story about growing up in a small town is, again, you're trying to be innovative and make yourself useful. I got so I would take the car and I'd park it on the street out front. But I would carefully check up and down the street to see if a policeman were coming. And if no one coming back in, rush out with the car, park it. And one day I got caught. The policeman was coming around the corner, and he came over and he put his arm around my shoulder, and I thought, oh boy, the jig is up. I'm going to lose the opportunity to do this extra job that is paying me money. And he said, son, he said, we do the beat down Ferry Street, the street where we were, East Street, on the hour and on the half hour. Don't be out in the 5-minute period of that time. And so on we went. And then I learned how one of the secretaries taught me to type so I could type warranty claims. The parts manager taught me how to keep a perpetual manual inventory of parts. And my job then was by 9:30 at night, when the train left the station, CPR, Karen, to go to Toronto, that you got that parts request and the warranty claims on that 9:30 plane, because if you get to Toronto, you get the parts and you get the check back a day earlier than if you left the next day. So I tell you those stories because it was, I guess, being innovative. It was just looking at the situation and figuring out how you could do it better. But with marvelous help from those mechanics, with the parts manager, the secretary who taught me how to type, etc., and making yourself useful. And so that notion of making things better, improving your circumstances, is a very essential part of innovation. But you know, the social innovation that's most interesting of all is this country. This country is a social innovation. It's built on a very unusual premise, and that is that diversity can work for you, not work against you. Many societies try to be as homogeneous as they can to consolidate values and experiences and so on. Ours is different from the very, very beginnings, a very diverse society, and we're beginning to understand more of our First Nations culture, which is diverse as well. And out of that, to create something that's more creative, more innovative, more harmonious. And I think that's a great lesson for Canada and the world. I just want to end with a third story, which comes from the book that will come out in October called Trust, the concept of trust. It's the glue that holds society together. Trust in our public institutions, trust in our media, trust in our leaders, trust in our business, trust in our teachers, in our schools. That's a little bit under siege at the present time, so we write about this and say how important it is. And trust comes in on foot, and it goes out in a Ferrari, or goes out on horseback. It's very slow to build, but quick to lose, etc. And the story that I think made them mean the most to me is to thine own self to be true is an important part of it, but it's a prayer breakfast that we had in Montreal about 25 years ago where Mother Teresa spoke. And some of our neighbors gathered with her for a short time before, and she talked a bit about her work in Calcutta. And one of our neighbors said, Mother Teresa, we're so moved by the work you do in Calcutta. What can we do to help? Well, I'd been a university president for a few years by then, and I thought she'd say, send a large check to my settlement house in Calcutta, India, and we'll put it to good use. She didn't. She said, I suggest to you, you look in your neighborhoods, you look in your family. I guarantee there's someone who needs your care and your love. She gave a wonderful address. It was covered by the 4 newspapers in Montreal, 3 of them very laudatory. The 4th was the one that was practicing realpolitik in those days, kind of tell things as it is, don't get into this romantic stuff, you know, be realistic. They said this woman was here yesterday, gave a great speech, does wonderful things in Calcutta, probably will be canonized by her church as she was, but let's be practical. She looks after a shelter for homeless 250 people in Calcutta, desperately poor, in a city of 20 million people, half of whom are desperately poor. In a country of 1 billion people, half of whom are desperately poor. Laudable is what she does. It's a mere drop in the bucket, a drop in the ocean, in the grand scheme of things. Bothered me for the longest time, and we have 5 daughters in 7 years, so birthday parties were a big deal. And we had finished a birthday party, and the eldest girls came up to me and said, "Dad, you know the ghost stories you tell the kids at the birthday party?" Yeah. Well, the kids know they're not true, that you just make them up. And they pretend to be scared because they know your feelings would be hurt if they didn't pretend to be scared. Why can't you be like Dean McFarlane? He does magic. So I was dean of the law school at Western, and Andy McFarlane was the dean of journalism. So I went to the McFarlane house a couple months ago for a birthday party, and there was McFarlane the Magnificent dressed up as a magician doing magic. The card tricks, the kids were mesmerized, big hat, wand, mustache, and then he reaches in the podium and he pulls up a glass filled with water. He says, "I will turn this water into wine." I said, "Careful, Andy, the last time someone tried that was 2,000 years ago with a little more authority and magic than you have." And he had an eyedropper in his sleeve, and he pulled it out, and he dropped one drop of red vegetable dye in that clear glass of liquid. And then he said, "Abracadabra," and he shook the glass, and the clear liquid suffused into a magnificent shade of rosé. And I realized at that moment that I had been thinking about that mere drop in the bucket, mere drop in the ocean as being irrelevant, was something I was analyzing from the point of view of physics or mathematics. I should have been thinking of it as chemical engineering, because when that one drop of red vegetable dye interacted with the many molecules of H2O, it's changed their culture. It turned their color. And that's what you do with that one act of love or care in your neighborhood, in your family, in your immediate surroundings to make things better. It's moving from me to we. And so think of your lives as having a little bit of chemical engineering with them. I'm going to stop now, and Sharon, why don't you join me up on the stage? And Nora, you're going to cross-examine us. Is that right? Correct. Good thing. Let's go.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston, for coming to Branksome and being part of our green carpet celebration today. We have learned so much about you in class over the years, and it is a thrill for us to have you here in person. Thank you for inspiring us to help build a more inclusive and caring Canada. We will do our best to follow your lead and find ways to build stronger connections within our community and our community beyond Branksome. We would also like to thank Mrs. Johnston for being here today and joining us to be part of this ceremony. We appreciate you taking your time to be with us. In honor of Mr. and Mrs. Johnston, we have made a donation to the Rideau Hall Foundation. The Rideau Hall Foundation is a uniquely Canadian charitable organization that amplifies the work of the Governor General's office and mobilizes people and ideas for the benefit of Canada and the world. The Rideau Hall Foundation asks the question, what would it look like if we all came together for the greater good in a place that focuses our energies, our values, our ideas, and our resources? We are proud to support the Rideau Hall Foundation as a tribute to the Johnstons' visit to Branksome. We ask that you also accept this small Branksome gift as a token of our appreciation and hope that you will come back to visit us soon. The Right Honourable David Johnston and Mrs. Johnston are now pleased to answer student questions. If you have a question, please go to the microphone at the front of the platform and line up.
Fire away.
So during your speech, you mentioned social innovation. And so I was wondering if either of you had any particular examples of social innovation that you've seen recently in Canada and how those have inspired you.
Shall I go first? Yeah. A zillion. Let me choose only one. At the corner of Parliament and Queen East, Craig and Mark Kielberger have built the Wee House. It's not quite called that. How many of you know Wee Days here? Do you know Wee Days? What's all that about? Because you volunteer so well, you get a chance to go to what used to be called Maple Leaf Gardens, the Air Canada Centre, and you have a whole day of celebrating volunteerism. What Mark and Craig done is a social innovation, and they have a whole floor devoted to social innovations. How you take any organization and simply make it better, particularly if you move from the first person singular to the first person plural, from me to we. And you know what happens when you make that transition? The world becomes a whole lot easier because all the cares of thinking about you and you, the center of the universe, kind of drop off your shoulder, and you become more interested in the cares and needs of people around you, and life becomes a whole lot better. That's what Craig and Mark did at this great place now. They've been at it for about 15 years. Craig started at age 7 or 8, I think, when he wanted to rebuild a school in Africa, and was then on a trip with Mr. Kretchen to India. And that's a social innovation, the concept of the we days and the concept from me to we. That's one. Do you want to add?
No, that's good. It's a great example.
Next one.
Hi. So you talk about this really lovely idea of Canadian patriotism and what that means specifically in Canada. I'm wondering if you think that patriotism in general is something that can be harnessed for a good cause in terms of international relations, etc., or if patriotism can be something that's harmful.
International experience?
No, patriotism, just say it again, patriotism can be harnessed, right? To do good.
Right, yeah.
Right, feeling your country.
Right, in Canada.
Right. Yes, so.
Well, why don't you answer?
No, you were the Governor General. You were the Governor General.
Yeah, I may be the Governor General, but you're
the time.
I may be the Governor General, but you're the Commander in Chief. The Governor General is also the Commander in Chief, but I understand how our household works. Well, I would begin with Mother Teresa, and I would begin with the notion of from me to we, from first person singular to first person plural. But the nation is built on that. We're a nation of barn raisers. You know, Champlain's first settlement in 1607, 1608 wouldn't have survived the winters, Port Royal, if the local First Nations tribe had not provided fresh meat and a tea they made from evergreen needles, which we now realize had vitamin C that stopped scurvy. That was what we would later call barn raising, helping your neighbors to raise the barn, and that metaphor still exists. And this is a caring nation. And as Karen mentioned, my installation address was entitled A Smart and Caring Nation, A Call to Service. And that, I think, is a trademark or a branding feature of Canada. And it's why we can say, when you come here and you become part of Canadian culture with your diverse cultures, you come here with the belief that life will be better for your children and for your neighbor's children and for your neighbor's children. We start there.
Thank you.
What about you?
No, that's very complete.
Hello. I appreciated how you started this talk in French because I'm in the higher level French program and I feel like I don't get to practice enough. And I wanted to ask what you think the importance of learning a second language is. I know you spoke about diversity. I thought you might have an interesting answer.
Why second languages? You answer that and tell us about the kids in Montreal.
Well, it's tremendous to be able to speak other languages, and you know, one of the ways you do this is to travel. But in 1979, we moved with our 5 little Anglophone daughters who didn't speak any French. But the law at that time was such that they could not even be in immersion courses. So they went, baptism by fire, they went straight into schools that were run and directed by France, so nobody spoke any English. And that has enlarged their vision of what they can do, because they ended up in Russia, they ended up in China. Once they had broken through the barrier, and 3 of them had to fail their first year, redoubler l'année scolaire, so that's not much fun. And so these girls are now, you know, somewhere between 40 and 50, and they're doing the same thing with their kids. It opens up what you see, but it also gives you capacities and abilities to work with different people, diverse cultures, and so on, to travel. And it's just a really good thing to do. And French, of course, is one of our official languages, and we could be learning native languages. And from there, you break down the barrier, the learning barrier, the brain barrier. And so I think, and they're doing it here. So it's one of the most intellectual things you can do.
I would add to that by saying minds like parachutes work best when open, and to know one is to know none. And we're so lucky to live in a country, one of the first 2 countries in the world to embrace multiculturalism officially by legislation, to say that diversity can in fact work for you and not against you as it does in many parts of the world. Now, to come back to our children who were unilingual English when we moved to Montreal and became bilingual with great challenges initially, and then 2 of them went to China to learn Chinese, so they speak numbers of languages. But as I've watched my children and their formation, as we say in French, their development, through the exposure to a different culture and different language, through international exchanges, which they began at age 12, and only 3% of Canadian university students have an exchange abroad or work experience or voluntary experience, should be 100%. And through their exposure to lives less comfortable in their own, poverty, etc., 4 things happen. 1, they became more curious, not just why, which kids ask, but why, really looking behind that difference. Secondly, they became more tolerant, not just, you're different from me, that's okay, nobody gets hurt, but what makes you different? What does that come from? Thirdly, their judgment becomes better because they look at things from a second angle. They want the other part of the story. They're really quick to spot bigotry and what's truth in media and what is not. But 4th, and most important of all, they become more empathetic. Not simply sympathetic, but empathetic, walk in the other person's shoes. And I like to think that the Canadian experience with the diversity and the features of respect for other languages is part of that formation that makes us people that look upon the world a little different way.
That's the complete answer.
Missy?
Je vais continuer mes études en français.
We have time for one more quick question.
Ask 2, and we'll come on back up. Come on back up. Ask 2, and we'll be quick in our response.
In the age of the polarization of political views and the general pessimism of a lot of media, do you have any advice in staying optimistic about the future? How to accomplish that? How to just train yourself?
You answer that, Jerry. I missed it.
No, well, I'll tell him the question, then he'll answer. There we go. Given the pessimism, the populism, and so on, do you have any answers as to how we can be more confident, how we can feel more secure, less anxious?
That's just stuff. I mean, it's there and it's real, and some of it's really cruel, and some of it's really dangerous, but just stand against it. To thine own self be true, thy values. You have values that don't believe in populism, don't believe in bigotry, don't believe in dividing people, and you believe in building people up and reaching out. That's Canadian, just live it every day.
Become elected.
Last 2 questions, I'll be shorter. Go ahead.
So, given both of your interests in education and mental health, I often see them seen and put as separate different ideas, especially on a global political stage. So how have you and how could we work to integrate it in systems like that?
It's yours.
To integrate mental health into our educational system?
As well as like on a political stage.
We'll wrap up now.
Right, so what are they going to do? Well, first of all, youth suicide is a tremendous problem. So we have this very real concern. So one of the things that they're trying to do is to educate the educators to understand when there is trouble and how to deal with it, maybe just as first responders, and to maybe de-escalate that. So absolutely, mental health has to be in the classroom. And it's a question of how many people you have that actually can be resource people for, we're talking education, not just in high schools or primary schools even, but we're talking university. That we have a problem and we are doing things in our country trying to put money and effort and resources towards it. But it's absolutely essential because you're not going to be able to learn if you are in some way your mental health is compromised, anxiety, depression. So it's a good question.
Mental health is health.
What do you guys do in your spare time?
Now that is a good question. We're fit. So we are avid cyclists. And on Sunday we went for a coffee. It took 40 kilometers on our road bikes to get there. So we bike. That's what he likes to do with me. He has no interest in horses, but I get on my horse every day at 1. And he's a little pony, a New Forest pony that came. I lost the other horse. It came from Georgia. And he had a terrible winter. So, he exercises on a machine. I hate machines. We really do believe in fitness for all of these young people. What did I say earlier? You have a commodity, mental health and physical health. How are you going to invest it is your decision. So we're investing in both to be well. We're in our 70s. We're pretty fit.
That was a wonderful conversation. Thank you to the students who asked questions and for your answers. I think it's so typical of Branksome to go from the most serious and high-minded to the most enjoyable and light-hearted. It was great. And now we're going to have one award while the Johnsons are still able to be with us. And we are going to be recognizing student accomplishment in the full IB experience. And the Right Honourable David Johnson will be with us for the first of these awards. The Duke of Edinburgh Award winners will be introduced by Mr. Owen Williams, the coordinator of the Duke of Edinburgh Award. Mr. Williams.
So the Duke of Edinburgh's award program was founded in 1956 by His Right Honourable Prince Philip with the purpose of challenging young people to achieve their personal best in the areas of physical activity, educational training, self-discipline, and service to the community. This award provides a context for Branksome girls to gain experience in learning how to become adaptable, positive role models. There are 3 levels of achievement, and the program currently operates in over 120 countries around the world. And a few weeks ago, we recognized one graduating year student, Kate Roshan, who received the Gold Duke of Edinburgh's Award, and we're inspired by her achievements, certainly. Today, we're pleased to recognize the recipient of the Silver Award. And we're really excited to have the opportunity to have Mr. David Johnston here to congratulate Emily Ash Kataya on the Duke of Edinburgh Silver Award. Emily, please come forward to shake hands with Ms. Jervich and Mr. Johnston.
When does she get her medal?
Well, it's...
When you come here, we're going to get a picture.
Yeah.
That's good, that's why.
Karen, come on.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations, Emily. There are 48 recipients of the Bronze Award, and the recipients' names will appear on the screen. Please join me in congratulating all the Bronze Award winners today.
So now it is time for the Right Honourable David Johnson and Mrs. Johnson to depart with Ms. Jervich. Let us give them one last round of applause with our thanks. Mr. Williams will now continue with the Principal's Awards.
It's a very, very difficult act to follow. So the purpose of the Principal's Award program is to guide middle school students to make meaningful contributions to their local and school community through service learning, and give them opportunities for participation in athletic and creative endeavors. The recipients of the Grade 7 Principal's Award will receive a rose pin, and the recipients of the Grade 8 Principal's Award will receive a thistle pin. And the names of the recipients are going to be on the screen by advisor group. grade 7 and 8 recipients, can you please stand up, rank them? Can we give them all a round of applause? Well done.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. We will now enjoy a vocal performance by Pilar Steers, who is a grade 10 student. She will be accompanied by Ms. Olfert on piano, and Pilar will sing Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen.
Just like a bit. Yeah. Okay. Yes, okay. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 ooh, ooh, yeah. Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. Well, she tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. But baby, I've been here before. I've seen these rooms and I've walked these floors. I used to live alone before I knew you. Well, I've seen your flag on the marble arch, and love is not a victory march, it's the cold and it's the broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Oh, thanks.
Thank you, Pilar, and Ms. Olfert. That was truly magnificent. Ms. Judith Friend, Instructional Leader of the Performing Arts Department, will announce the recipients of the Music and Drama Awards. Ms. Friend.
Music Participation Awards are awarded to recognize outstanding contribution to the Branksome Hall co-curricular music program. Students earn points by participating in music ensemble and productions, as well as by performing at assemblies and other school events. Points are cumulative year to year, and students earn points in the year in which they have reached designated students earn pins in the year in which they have reached designated point totals. Today we will recognize students in grades 7 to 11 who have earned music awards this year. At 40 points, students are awarded the music pin. To reach this level, students must have participated in at least 3 ensembles for a full year and performed regularly at school. There are 9 recipients of the music pin. Their names will appear on the screen. Please see Mr. Harbin at the end of the event to collect your pin. Congratulations. Having earned 80 points, a student receives the music letter. Students who achieve the music letter have been involved in multiple music ensembles every year, have taken on leadership positions, participated in music festivals, and various music performances at school. This year, the music letter is presented to 4 students. Please come forward to receive your letter from Ms. Jervich. Connie Guo, Julia Hess, Alexandra Kennedy, Sam Sumner. Congratulations.
Congratulations, and you get your picture taken now.
The highest award is the Music Trophy, received when a student earns 105 points. Will the following students please come forward? Julia Demaki, Abana Elango, Elizabeth Kennedy, Shihura Yasufuko, and Jacqueline Yu. Congratulations. The Eastman Award is given to a grade 11 student of an alumna of the Eastman School of Music. Ms. Pat attended the Eastman School of Music in New York. This award is given to a student who has demonstrated exceptional musical accomplishments, reflecting her talent, perseverance, and support of her teachers. The student has contributed positively to the musical environment in her school. I ask Ms. Pat to come forward and present the award. This year, the award is presented to Chihiro Yasufuko. Chihiro, please come forward to receive your award. Congratulations. Drama participation pins. Students who participate in theatre productions as cast or technical crew members demonstrate leadership competencies by being role models who learn how to listen actively, collaborate, and communicate effectively. Through their participation in productions, students accumulate drama participation points. Having accumulated 15 points, a drama student is awarded a silver drama participation pin. There are 18 recipients of the silver pin. Their names will appear on the screen. Please see me at the end of the event to collect your pin. Congratulations. Gold drama participation pins are awarded to those students who have accumulated 30 points. Please come forward as I read your name and receive your pin from Ms. Jervich. The 2 recipients of the gold pin are Brooke Shaughnessy and Tayo Steininger. Congratulations. The Platinum Drama Participation Pin is awarded to a student who has accumulated 45 points. This year, the recipient is Nancy Kian. Nancy, please come forward. Congratulations. This year we introduce a new award, the Becca Clark 17 Award for Enthusiasm and Passion in Middle School Co-Curricular Drama. The Clark family has established this award in recognition of the positive experience Becca Clark 17 had at Branksome Hall, and her passion, talent, and commitment to the drama and theatre program. Many here today will remember Becca's memorable performances in the senior theatre productions as Taylor McKessie in High School Musical and as Max Detweiler in Reimagining the Sound of Music, as well as her spirited and fun-loving personality. Unfortunately, the Clark family could not join us today, but we look forward to Becca attending in future years to present this award. The Becca Clark 17 Award for Enthusiasm and Passion in Middle School Co-Curricular Drama recognizes grade 7 or grade 8 students who demonstrate excellence and passion in their co-curricular theatrical pursuits and who have an outstanding level of commitment to the middle school drama program. The inaugural award is presented to 3 students, Christiana Annette, Nina Butterworth Cohen, and Eleanor Sturton. Christina, Nina, and Eleanor, please come forward and receive your award. Congratulations. The Heather Sanderson 89 Memorial Scholarship for Drama, for Excellence in Drama, is presented this year to 2 students, Grace Cobbold and Madeline Smith. Grace and Madeline, please come forward. Congratulations. The Theatre Ontario Certificate of Excellence for Drama is awarded to an individual who has shown diligence, excellence, and outstanding commitment to the drama community at her school. This year it is awarded to 4 students, Nancy Kian, Brooke Shaughnessy, Tayo Steininger, and Caroline Zhao. Nancy, Brooke, and Tayo, please come forward. Unfortunately, Caroline could not be with us today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Ms. Friend. And would Ms. Katie Flynn, Director of Athletics, please come forward to announce the Athletes of the Year awards, and Ms. Jovich will hand out the plaques.
Good afternoon, Highlanders. To start, we'd like to celebrate our spring successes. Several track and field students, or athletes, advanced to Metro Finals, and Tayo Steininger advanced to OFSA for hurdles. Yes, very impressive. Where I believe she also earned a personal best, so it was a great performance. The junior slow pitch team earned a silver medal at their championships, while the U13 slow pitch team also placed second in their league. Our U13 and U14 tennis teams were victorious, placing first in their final tournament, while our golfers won the CISAA championships for the 2nd year in a row. Yes. Our junior ultimate Frisbee team, in only its second year, remained undefeated during the regular season. And finally, the rowing team finished their outstanding season, earning 1 bronze, 2 silver, and 4 gold medals at the national championships, making them Canada's overall efficiency champions. The Middle and Junior Senior Athlete of the Year Awards recognize athletes in grades 7 to 10 who have participated fully in 3 seasons of athletics. Each season, the athlete demonstrated commitment, teamwork, and skill, and learned how to transcend self-interest by challenging and inspiring others to have the confidence to excel. Please come forward as I read your names and receive your plaque from Ms. Jervich. The Middle School Athlete of the Year is presented to 2 students, Isabella Rousseau and Ava Simons. Congratulations. The Junior Athlete of the Year Award is presented to 1 grade 9 student and 1 grade 10 student. In grade 9, Kate McCallum, and in grade 10, Fatima Fidel. The Sandra Bolte 73 Senior Athlete of the Year Award recognizes Miss Bolte's many years of involvement at Branksome Hall. Miss Bolte was an avid athlete when she was a student and was the athletics prefect in her final year at Branksome. The award is presented to an athlete in grade 11 who has demonstrated leadership and mentorship and who is generous of her knowledge and skill of sport. The Sandra Bolte 73 Senior Athlete of the Year Award is awarded to 2 students this year, Lachlan March and Sophia Penner. So Lachlan and Sophia are going to stay on the platform for a minute. Yep. So just to continue while you're still up here, Lachlan was the captain of the senior hockey team during the winter season, earning the Most Valuable Player award for her leadership, commitment, and skill. Lachlan was also a valued member of the senior track and field team. This spring, she decided to try, for the first time, competing in the javelin, and due to her natural athleticism, qualified for the Metros. In addition, Lachlan was selfless with her time and volunteered to help coach and mentor the U12 slow pitch team. Sophia played on both the senior volleyball team and senior ultimate frisbee teams this year. She led both teams by example as the team's captains, earning the Most Valuable Player award for both teams. Sophia's enthusiasm for athletics at Branksome is outstanding. This is why she was elected by her peers to be the athletics prefect in 2018-2019. Congratulations, girls.
Before we end this section of our celebration with the Debating Awards, we have a very special new award to present, and it was given by former students, notably alums of the class of 2004, to recognize an exceptional Branksome teacher who is retiring this year. I ask Ms. Jane Marshall to come and join me here on the platform. The Jane Marshall Award for Model United Nations recognizes a grade 7 to 11 student who shows exceptional skill in and commitment to Branksome Hall's Model United Nation co-curricular program. The award was established by a group of alums and community members to honor Jane Marshall upon her retirement in June 2018. The award pays tribute to Ms. Marshall's career at Branksome, particularly recognizing her impact on students as she led the Model United Nations program. I ask Ms. Marshall to present the award named in her honor.
Renee, I can't even say it, I'm so overcome. Renee Chagdeo. Renee first served as a Branksome delegate to the Model United Nations at the national level in 2016, when she and a very eager cohort of 9 other grade 10 students attended McGill University's prestigious Secondary Schools United Nations Symposium in Montreal. As head delegate this year to U of T's MUN in February, Renee's comprehensive leadership guided a team of 10 participants to 7 awards. In addition, and along with several other MUN members, Renee has led a program of instruction for new delegates to the club to assist them to learn the complicated technical language and procedure of Model United Nations and teach them about the finer points of diplomatic conduct and discourse. Renee is a stellar representative of the many, many fine young women from our school who have, over the past 29 years, have placed our school in the top-ranked MUN schools in Canada. Congratulations on receiving this award as its first recipient, Renee.
Debating and Public Speaking Awards. Would Mr. Owen Williams please come forward to announce the winners of novice, junior, and senior debating? In debating, students learn lifelong leadership skills of effective collaboration and powerful communication. Ms. Jurvich will hand out the awards.
So we have three debating and public speaking awards. The first is the Ann Bayless Award for Public Speaking and Debating at the novice level for grades 7 and 8 students. And this award recognizes a student's achievement in public speaking events at Branksome Hall and at local and provincial competitions. The recipient has demonstrated exceptional enthusiasm and commitment to the acquisition of a variety of public speaking skills. This year, the recipient is Maylee Mann. The Aya Zommers Debating and Public Speaking Award is awarded at the junior level to a student who has distinguished herself in both debating and public speaking. The recipient has demonstrated exceptional interest in and commitment to the achievement of excellence in a variety of public speaking forms. She has represented Branksome Hall at local, provincial, and national events. The award goes to Emma Jo. Finally, the Joyce Frankel Kaufman Award for Public Speaking and Debating is awarded at the senior level to grade 10 and 11 students. It is the most distinguished award that Branksome Hall offers in the area of debating and public speaking. This award is presented to the student who has truly distinguished herself in both debating and public speaking, and who has tested herself in the most challenging provincial, national, international, and world competitions. This year, there are two recipients of this award, Eve Kavanagh and Fatima Nami. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. It's only fitting now that we enjoy a persuasive speech. And I will ask Eleanor Sturton, who is in grade 8, to come forward. Ellie's speech is about the harmful effects of Photoshop and the media on mental and physical health. And we are so proud of her for presenting it today at Green Carpet. Ellie.
I am not model tall, and I never will be. I am not stick thin, and I never will be. And based on the modern day beauty standards portrayed in the media, I am not thought to be pretty, and I never will be. Is that not ridiculous? Today, I'm here to talk to you about the negative impact of Photoshop in the media. Just one of the many negative effects is body hate, hating your physical self. This can result in serious mental and physical health problems. Fortunately, there is a solution. By avoiding Photoshopped images and by promoting the use of realistic images in the media, we can limit the negative effects of Photoshop. Now, before we go further into the desperately needed solutions, we need to understand the problem. The first part of the problem is people hating their own bodies. No one is born hating their body. Because of the media, they get the idea that their body is not good enough. If all the ads, movies, and TV shows you see only show one type of perfect person, you're going to believe you should look like them too, which is completely unrealistic. Yet this has happened so much that now only 2% of women describe themselves as beautiful. Even the most beautiful of people suffer from body hate. Cameron Russell, a Victoria's Secret model, described this in her TED Talk. Models are self-conscious because they are always being photoshopped. Even they aren't good enough. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The next part of the issue are the certain health problems caused due to body hate. To name just a few, there's anorexia nervosa, which is the fear of gaining weight. Body dysmorphic disorder, when people look in the mirror and see themselves as ugly. And depression, the constant feeling of sadness, worthlessness, and loneliness. Because of Photoshop, women often make drastic changes to their appearance, starve themselves, and can even commit suicide. The American Medical Association is openly against Photoshop, believing it should be eliminated due to its negative health effects. So we know this needs to stop, and I can tell you how. Firstly, we must limit our contact with the media. This means turning off the TV during commercials, not looking at ads in magazines, and avoiding ad-heavy apps. On average, young girls are exposed to 400 to 600 modified images per day. If this number decreases, the assumption is that the negative effects will decrease. We should start implementing this solution when children are young and impressionable. But even then, completely abandoning all forms of media seems drastic, daunting, and difficult. That's why the next part of the solution is crucial: encouraging and promoting unmodified images in the media. If we use images of real bodies, we can start to reverse unrealistic body expectations. In fact, this is already starting to happen. Debenhams, a UK department store, is no longer using Photoshop in their advertisements. Companies need to encourage change, but so do you. You can start to write letters, start petitions, and start conversations to tell people that Photoshop is dangerous and that all bodies should be seen as beautiful. So let's review. Photoshop is making people self-conscious about their bodies, resulting in serious health problems. However, by limiting interactions with Photoshop in the media, and then by supporting all natural images, we can fix these issues. I am not model tall, and I don't need to be. I'm not stick thin, and I don't need to be. I'm not thought to be pretty, and I never will be. Is that not ridiculous? We are not Photoshopped, and we don't need to be. Thank you.
Ellie, thank you for that outstanding speech. It was articulate, thoughtful, and brave. We will now recognize grade 10s as they complete the MYP. And I ask Ms. Candice Benedette, the MYP coordinator, to come forward to present first the Love of Reading Prize and then to make the MYP presentations. Ms. Benedette.
The Love of Reading Award is determined in consultation with our English teachers and the Resource Center staff. It is presented to a student who is actively engaged in promoting and exemplifying a love of reading at Branksome Hall. The award this year is given to Shelley Shen. Please come to the podium. Today we celebrate the accomplishments of our grade 10 class as they mark the completion of the IB Middle Years program. Students have met all the requirements of the program. They've studied in a liberal arts framework, integrated their learning across the disciplines and in different global contexts. They have demonstrated the attributes of the learner profile, created a unique and interesting personal project, and have completed a minimum of 15 hours of service learning. The award winners will be on the slide. I now invite all grade 10 students and advisors to stand and be recognized by the community for their achievements in the Middle Years program. Congratulations, class of 2018.
Thank you, Ms. Benedette. We are now at the third section of the Green Carpet celebration when we recognize student commitment, leadership, and character. The first of these awards will be presented by Ms. Sandra Bolte and Dr. Seamak Boramand. I ask the winners to come forward when they hear their name and to be congratulated by Ms. Jervich. Ms. Bolte.
The Stephanie Telfer Award. Stephanie Telfer was a student at Branksome Hall from grade 6 to grade 8. Steffi and I grew up together, and we attended Branksome Hall until her untimely death in February 1968. Steffi always had a smile for her classmates, and she exhibited strength and determination. The Stephanie Telfer Award is presented to a student who has shown exceptional spirit and enthusiasm in all areas of the middle school. I am pleased to announce that the recipients of the Stephanie Telfer Award for School Enthusiasm is presented to two students, Amanda Lee and Samantha Roberts. Amanda is known for her enthusiasm for all things Branksome. As a grade rep, she demonstrated great drive and spirit as she led her grade through their second Spirit Week. No matter the obstacle, Amanda always faces challenges with a positive attitude and encourages her peers to do their best and actively engage in school life. Sammy's energy and involvement can be seen in every day at Branksome, whether presenting an assembly about a future design challenge or representing orange, her grade color, during Spirit Week. Sammy encourages others with her love of school life, and we greatly appreciate her positive attitude. Congratulations.
The Alumni Association Award for Outstanding Contribution to the Middle School recognizes a student in grade 7 or 8 who has demonstrated exceptional academic achievement in and contribution to the middle school. This year, the Alumni Association Award for Outstanding Contribution to the Middle School is awarded to two students, Jacqueline Groenewegen and Olivia Wilkie. And Jacqueline and Olivia, I'm going to ask you to stay up here while I say some brief remarks. Celebrating her love of all things STEM, this year Jackie was the head of the Innovation Club and achieved a perfect score on the Beaver Computing Challenge. Yeah. She also played for the senior hockey team and was a dedicated member of the middle school reading buddies. As Campbell Clan rep, Olivia shared her love for clans with her peers. She's a member of the cross-country, volleyball, and golf teams. She volunteers at parent-teacher interviews and was also a middle school ambassador. Olivia displayed her passion for dance through the BH Dance Company. Congratulations. The Faculty Award for Citizenship is awarded to a student who has shown commitment to the Branksome community and generosity of spirit to her fellow students. The Faculty Award for Citizenship is presented this year to two students, Abarna Alango and Eleanor Sturton. In her years as a Branksome student, Abarna has dedicated herself to the community, both at Branksome and beyond. As a service learning rep, Abarna has engaged her peers in multiple initiatives to support Indigenous peoples, as well as persons with disabilities. As one of the co-leaders of the Sunnyview Partnership, she helped coordinate 50 students to volunteer in the weekly partner program where Branksome students partner with students with intellectual and physical disabilities. This year, she helped organize Branksome's first ever Cape Day, in which students raised money and awareness for Holland Bloorview Macmillan Center. Ellie loves being involved in school activities. She starred as Mary Lennox in The Secret Garden and took time to make our middle school look good as a member of the Our House Committee. Ellie won the grade 8 public speaking competition with her persuasive speech about Photoshop and the media, and she then presented it at the Sterling Hall Public Speaking Invitational, where she won second place. Ellie is a caring and inclusive member of the community who often considers the needs of others before her own. Congratulations.
The Linda Meyer Memorial Award is presented in memory of Linda Meyer, who was the guidance counselor in the middle school for 9 years. I knew her well, and she loved working with grades 7 and 8 students. She believed passionately that their voices must be heard. Ms. Meyer encouraged the girls to advocate for themselves, to take responsibility for their learning, and to work together cooperatively. These are values that we live by at Branksome Hall, not only in the middle school, but everywhere. The grade 8 class nominated and voted for the person whom they felt was most deserving of this award. This is the way Ms. Meyer would have wanted the selection to be made. She trusted the girls' judgment. The Linda Meyer Memorial Award acknowledges a student who has demonstrated integrity, wisdom, and kindness, both in and out of the class, and who has made a difference for her colleagues and for her school. The Linda Meyer Memorial Award is presented this year to Caden Friesen. Caden, please stay here on the platform while I read what your classmates wrote about you, and then you'll receive your award. Caden is a classic Branksome student with a lot of wisdom in answering questions and integrity and kindness in the way she respects her teachers and the students in her class. They said about you as well, I have noticed that Caden not only has a lot of knowledge, but she also shares it with her peers. Caden is one of the nicest people I know. She always makes sure that the people around her are happy. She cares for people. And finally, they said about you, Caden, Caden has a positive attitude. She's very funny. She loves to participate in Branksome activities and always does it to the very best of her ability. Congratulations, Caden. Ms. Jervich will now present you with the Linda Meyer Memorial Award. The next awards that acknowledge commitment, leadership, and character will be presented by Ms. Siobhan Craig, Director of Boarding, and Ms. Jana Tateshi, Head of Student Support. I ask the winners to come forward when they hear their names and be congratulated by Ms. Jervich. Ms. Craig.
The Kathleen Shaw Memorial Award for Boarding is given to a student who has demonstrated leadership with respect to community living and mentorship of younger students. This year, the award is presented to Miranda Gao. Come up and accept your award. Miranda is a dedicated member of the boarding community and has been since she started at Branksome Hall 3 years ago. Miranda has developed her confidence and capacity as a leader, whether it's presenting at special dinners as we celebrate cultural events, helping friends with their homework, or taking time out of her day to go off campus with younger students. We thank Miranda for demonstrating the good citizenship and compassion that are required for a diverse community to thrive.
The Humphrey Family Service Award is given to a student in grades 10 through 12 who, while going above and beyond the call of duty, made an exceptional contribution to the quality of life of another person during a particularly difficult life experience. The Humphrey Family Service Award is awarded to Aiden Alderson. The Edgar G. Burton Prize is awarded to a student who has demonstrated tenacity, resilience, and a positive attitude. The Edgar G. Burton Prize is awarded to 3 students: Kate McCallum, Elizabeth Sullivan, and Priya Suresh Raj.
The Bill and Anne DeLuce Award recognizes and rewards 1 or more grade 10 students who've shown a remarkable commitment to the school, fellow students, and to the community at large. It is my pleasure to ask Bill DeLuce, who is with us today, to come forward to congratulate the recipients with Ms. Jervich. His daughters, Ainsley DeLuce, 94, Dana DeLuce, 96, Lindsay DeLuce Ball, 99, as well as his daughter-in-law, Heather Wright, 03, all attended Branksome Hall, and Lindsay was our green carpet speaker in 2011. This year, the Bill and Anne DeLuce Award is presented to 3 students. I ask them to come forward and stay on the platform: Jasmine Chen, Adele Cret-Lawrence, and Izzy Sloan. Let me tell you a little bit about each one of them while they stay here on the platform. Jasmine has demonstrated outstanding commitment to the school through her involvement as a jump math tutor. She's dedicated to helping younger students foster a love of math. Additionally, Jasmine's interest in social justice is evident in her membership on the Sustainability Council. Jasmine is passionate about supporting intercultural awareness in our community as she advocates for diverse perspectives. Adele approaches all aspects of school life with poise and excellence. As Pylander's junior head and a STEM council member, she promotes the love of mathematics and science in our community. She's a dedicated volunteer at Sunnyview Public School. Adele is also a fine musician who is a member of the chamber choir and head of the ukulele club. She also conducted a choral piece at the spring concert. Adele demonstrates integrity and a quiet constancy in all she does. Izzy continues to demonstrate a remarkable commitment to Branksome Hall and its community. She has twice served on the Service Learning Council and has been a CAS rep. She is on the Action Committee and has volunteered with the Middle School Reading Buddies. Izzy is reflective and open-minded. She approaches everything she does with kindness, curiosity, and thoughtfulness. Congratulations. Thank you. The Parents Association Award for Outstanding New Girl in the Senior School recognizes a student new to Branksome Hall this year who has combined successful academic achievement with exceptional involvement in school life. I am pleased to present the Parents Association Award for Outstanding New Girl to 3 students in recognition of their fine contributions in their first year at Branksome Hall. The recipients are Clarice Chen, Lily Dong, and Amna Gohar. Please come forward. Amna couldn't be with us today. The next segment of our program recognizes student commitment to leadership at Branksome Hall. I ask Denise Power, Director of Student Life, to come to the podium, and Ms. Jervich will congratulate the recipients of the Leadership Awards.
The Leadership Awards recognize students who have demonstrated impactful leadership skills. This year, many of you, whether in elected positions or not, have taken initiative, created opportunities, and motivated others. We will first present pins to the grade representatives and thank them for the leadership role they played throughout the year. Please come forward when I read your name. The leadership pins are awarded to grade 7 reps, Dominique Cullum and Claire Parkhill. Grade 8 reps, Amanda Lee and Catherine Valentine. Grade 9 reps, Sophie Gears and Chloe McClossick. Grade 10 reps, Maya Forte and Tara Lee. Grade 11 reps, Arla Dackley and Madeline Young. Congratulations and thank you, grade reps. Next, we wish to recognize students who, without an elected position, have taken the initiative to collaborate and demonstrate leadership. We are proud of the impact you have had on our community. Will the following students please come forward to receive your pins and remain at the podium? Claire Christie, Tegan Kinnear, and Chihiro Yasufuku. New to Branksome this year, Claire immediately embraced school life and reached out to the broader community. She demonstrated leadership through her commitment to the First Nations Reading Buddies program. In addition, she spent every Wednesday helping a kindergarten student improve her literacy skills. As a member of the rowing team, Claire always supported her peers with her generosity of spirit, both on and off the water. Claire was recently selected to attend the Global Summit for Student Leadership, and she shared her learning from the conference in a motivating assembly presentation. Tegan has demonstrated leadership both in and out of the classroom. Tegan has been a supportive classmate who approaches topics with an open mind and a desire to collaborate with others. As a committed member of the rowing team, Tegan leads by example through her drive, determination, and the enthusiastic support for her teammates at all practices. This year, Tegan tried something new as a member of the slogan team. She quickly became known as a dependable member of the team who always followed through on her photography assignments. Tegan was also selected to attend the Global Student Leadership Summit and gave an excellent presentation on her conference experience. Chihiro demonstrates leadership in her attitude and achievements. She consistently gives of herself and shares her skills without being asked. She is inclusive and inviting in her approach to making music with others, and models the way a leader should be, giving of her best and helping those around her to be successful. In addition to her commitment to the music program at Branksome, Chihiro has been a dedicated volunteer at the First Nations Reading Buddies program. Every Wednesday morning, Chihiro builds relationships with the kindergarten students through her caring mentorship and the development of their literacy skills. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Power. I now ask Ms. Heather Friesen, our Head Curriculum, Innovation and Professional Learning, to come to the podium to present the final awards of the Green Carpet celebration.
As I now present the IB Learner Profile Awards, it is my pleasure to ask Sandra Bolte, 73, to come to the podium to congratulate the recipients. It is the vision of Branksome Hall to be a community of globally minded learners and leaders. A globally minded person is knowledgeable, principled, open-minded, balanced, caring, and reflective. Globally minded people are also inquirers, risk-takers, communicators, and thinkers. These students have been chosen by their teachers because they most clearly demonstrate the attributes we would describe as globally minded. Please join me in congratulating the following recipients of the Bolte Family Learner Profile Award: Julia Hess and Abarna Ilango. Girls, please come forward. And I'll ask you to remain on the podium, girls. So Julia is an inquirer, a critical thinker, and a creative communicator. She readily absorbs new concepts, demonstrates intuitive understanding, and is a knowledgeable, reflective participant in discussions. Julia has shown commitment to community as a peer supporter, peer tutor, and Sunnyview volunteer. She has enhanced her high school experience with a rich cast portfolio, including playing the role of Maria in the senior theater production of The Sound of Music, and as head of the chamber choir. Abarna exemplifies several traits of the learner profile, both in the Branksome classroom and in the broader community. As a student, she is open to diverse opinions and is a curious, independent learner who values exploring new and challenging content. In the broader community, Abarna is a caring citizen who takes the initiative in creative fundraising and community partnerships. She has devoted her time to learning about and engaging with issues facing Indigenous peoples and those with disabilities. Congratulations, girls. Please join me now in congratulating the following recipients of the Nowers Family Learner Profile Award: Charlie Lafayette, Sam Sumner, and Chihiro Yasufuku. Students, would you please join me? And if you'd stay on the podium. Charlie demonstrates academic curiosity, caring, and risk-taking through her many contributions to Branksome. Her commitment to well-being and open-mindedness was evident in her role in organizing What is the Hidden Rule Book?, a conversation on gender-related topics for students from Cosset schools. Charlie was a communicator and collaborator throughout the proposal, organization, and facilitation of Branksome's first artificial intelligence, AI, panel discussion, which was a great success. Charlie's learner profile attributes are as apparent on the volleyball court as they are off it. Charlie is dedicated to her competitive volleyball team and helped Branksome's senior volleyball team reach OFSA this year. Sam is an open-minded thinker and communicator who takes an active approach to learning. She has demonstrated care through her many contributions to the Branksome community. She is a student who has enhanced her high school experience with a rich cast portfolio, including stage band, the rock band Arla, and in her role as a peer promoter. She values the time she spends volunteering at Sunnyview Public School. This year, Sam combined her love of photography with her passion for helping others by creating the first ever Sunnyview yearbook. Sam's ability to balance her academic commitments and co-curricular responsibilities is exemplary. Chihiro is a principled individual who demonstrates integrity and care in her approach to learning and her perspective on local and global issues. She has been a committed member of First Nations Reading Buddies, and she readily places her own needs aside to care for her fellow students. As a musician, she regularly takes risks, performing solos and leading the string and vocal ensembles at concerts and assemblies. Chihiro is unfailingly kind, positive, and helpful toward her peers and teachers. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Friesen. We will now enjoy a performance by the string quartet of Here Comes the Sun by George Harrison, performed by Chihiro Yasufuku, Jacqueline Yu, Penny McCreath, and Ms. Lyris Pat. Thank you, Chihiro, Jacqueline, Penny, and Ms. Pat. That was a beautiful performance. And I guess Here Comes the Sun tells us that we are at the end of our green carpet celebration. This is the moment we have all been waiting for. So students, shortly we will dismiss you by grade and ask you to leave by the back door so you can proceed downstairs to pick up your slogan and your perennial. It's in the AWC dining hall by numbered balloon, but not yet. Your advisors will give it to you shortly. And once you pick up your slogans, please enjoy a cool treat that we have for you, which is in the Heritage Courtyard. I'd like to take a moment just before we end to thank Ms. Denise Power, Ms. Sandra Bolte, the ACE team, Mr. Scott Harbin, Ms. Nancy Olfert, Ms. Lyris Pat, and all the staff who have had a part in creating and planning this event. Thank you. I'd like to thank Alex Kennedy, grade 9, for creating the beautiful poster design for our green carpet celebration. And thank you to all today's performance. You added immeasurably to the ceremony by giving us your talents and your creativity. Let's give them a round of applause. I want to thank the parents, past parents, faculty, staff, and special guests and friends for joining us today. We really appreciated your being here. It's been an outstanding school year, and now it's time to relax and recharge and get ready. So when we see you in September, you will have all had a wonderful and a safe summer. So students, again, we'll ask you to remain seated. We'll ask the platform party to leave first, and then our parents and guests will leave second, and then I will dismiss you by grade. Could I ask the prefects to now go to the door and for the platform party to exit, followed by our guests? Thank you, everyone.